Good day, kings and queens. Again, welcome to round 3 of the USA chess tournament, which was played in Kimberley, Sol Plaatje University. Here I had the white pieces, and I was coming from a very rather devastating loss from round 2. But to be fair, I deserved that win. That loss, because I was just playing. Yeah, my opponent was just playing extremely well. He was good. Lunga was good. I was playing good chess. So here I had the white pieces this time around, and you know by now I'm an e4 player, right? Unapologetic whatsoever. So the move started out the game. Started out with the move e4, 1e4, 1c5, and the knight f3 classical, d6, d4, takes, and then my opponent played knight c6. Now it's worth mentioning and noting here that the meta is usually to play c4. And here's the point, right? The case can be made for c4 here, because if you play, let's say, something like knight f3, and your opponent goes for g6, which is the dragon sort of, right? c4 is usually the Maroczy blind, is usually good against this setup over here, right? And he does not commit. But in recent years, players now finesse that move order after knight takes on d4 and then knight c6. Well, c4 is playable, but some players, what they do is here they first play knight f6, right, prompting knight c3, and then playing g6, right? Because now you'll have the exact same setup without the pawn on c4. That's one way to finesse the move order if you don't like playing against the Maroczy blind. Now, me being me, I actually knew here I had to go c6, but for some weird, odd reason, I decided not to play that line, right? I just really went about my business. I mind my own business. Bishop e3. I thought, we're just gonna play chess, whatever. And yeah, I'll see. Then he played knight f6, I played knight c3, he went e5. Now it's important here to note I can play stuff like knight, I didn't really like knight b5 because I really didn't think there's nothing there really. Like, it's just a waste of move. So knight b3 is playable. Stuff like maybe bishop e6, bishop e2, bishop e7, blah, 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 blah. You know the story, right? Classical, typical lines, basically, after bishop e3, knight f6, knight c3, e5, after this position. Now here I could have gone for the knight b3 line, but I decided to play in an exotic way, and instead I retreated to knight f3. That's what I played, because I thought it seemed like this is awkward, even though this is right and playable, but I was just looking for a fight. I wasn't looking to go into mainline stuff. I wasn't looking for any of that. And so my opponent plays bishop g4. I thought it was a pretty interesting idea. I thought he had to play stuff like in the true spirit of the Sicilian defense, right? Bishop e6, going for d5 right here. Maybe I have to play stuff like bishop b5, I don't know, and then queen d3, long castles, right? I thought he had to play in the true spirit of the Sicilian, but he was being goofy himself. So this was a nice game, I think, for the both of us. Like, this is just normal developing. Bishop e2, I'm not going to explain this move. Bishop e7, queen d2, short castles and long castles. Look, I was looking to go for a fight. I'm here to have some fun. Let's go, right? Both players are developed. Both players have castled opposite sides. Let's go. I'm ready. This was sort of the attitude of us playing. And then here he played a weird move. He played bishop e6. So why would you play bishop g4 to play bishop e6 when you could have just played bishop e6 like here, right here? You could have just gone bishop e6 right here. Why would you want to go bishop e6 here? You wasted a move. It doesn't make sense, right? So I played the best move, which was knight g5, going for the bishop, and then he played queen d3. Now, it's important to note that the bishop is not going anywhere here, right? I played f3. Now, the engine thought I was slow. It wanted me to go like f4 and just start shredding open this king side position and just go for the kill, right? Also, king b1 actually was more flexible, I believe, because the bishop is dead anyway. in this line. It's dead anyway. Just king b1, always a good move to play. And as you can see, the evil bar is standing right there, giving a slight edge to white. Still fairly equal, but white is way much better. And play from here, because I am gonna take the bishop pair, definitely, because once that bishop is gone, this bishop here comes alive and is a very strong piece. I'll have the bishop pair, right? Strong pieces right here. I'm just gonna bully him. This bishop here, yeah, that bishop is passive. It's stupid and it needs, I don't know, it's just gonna suffocate behind its own pieces. He'd have to play knight out somewhere or somehow activate this bishop, maybe on f6, I don't know, but like the point is, it's gonna take time for the bishop to come into the game. Meanwhile, I can mobilize my army maybe even this way, I don't know, then g4, h4, I don't know, something like that, right? So I took this time. I thought, okay, the bishop is not going anywhere, so I took this time to, after queen d7, to play f3, right? But I could have gone king b1, which the engine says was way much better. And then knight h5 was, I don't really know where he was going with this knight. But then just g4. Now g4 is justified, because what is your knight doing there? Because now if takes, which I thought also was playable, because the bishop is bad. And then he can, okay, maybe not in this line, but I thought, yeah, because then the knight is just hanging and his position is just going to collapse. But this knight h5 justifies this move g4. It comes with tempo. He played knight f4, excuse me, and I took, I'm a bit tired, and took, and then I won a pawn, h6, then just takes. Now he was trying to set up some trap here of bishop trapping, right? And this is why the king b1 move was useful earlier on, but I didn't really see that far, even though I thought, and maybe at some point it can be an idea, because usually when you have this battery lined up here and the bishop gets exchanged, this is a normal problem. If you're a Sicilian player and you're an open Sicilian player, you know that this usually is a thing. But I was not worried, but then just queen g3, played e5, played h4, knight e5, which was a good move, g4, h5, bishop c4 check. He cannot have my bishop now, because just so you understand, if I like lays around here, I don't know, things like here, like, okay, that is fine. Oh, apparently I should have just gone g6. I thought of this move, but I actually, oh, wow. I actually thought of g6, did I? I can't even remember. It was a complicated game, but I should have. I thought like there was this sack here that was looming, right? This classical sacrifice, and then taking here a check, poking my king and queen, because it's an awkward position. This is a strong knight, which I did remove, by the way, in the game, right? I had to go for the removal of the knight. So bishop c4 check, king h8, and here I played the most incredible move, right? Rook takes on d4. Best move. And the point is, his pieces are garbage. Rook here is garbage, bishop here is garbage, queen here is garbage, garbage, right? Where is this bishop going? Where is it going? The only strong piece in black's camp was the knight on d4. And I'm glad I spotted this in the game. And as you can tell, the evil bar doesn't even go down. It stays there, right? Because this is the best move. After takes, I played another best move, knight d5. Hits the bishop, right? But essentially, it centralizes the knight. And then I'm going to set up a blockade here on d3 so that this pawn doesn't advance. And then now you begin to actually see that the e5 pawn, the d6 pawn are sitting ducks. This bishop scares nobody. And look, what's going on here, right? I'm about to march in, which is actually what happened in the game. This is what happened in the game. He played the best move, rook a, c8, bishop d3. There's the blockade I was telling you about. After queen e6, just f4. The avalanche is coming, and no one can stop white's initiative. Look at the evil bar. I was so happy I played like this in the game. And here he played bishop d8, creating room, right? Because he can't really, I thought here, I was going to go for something interesting actually here. Oh, once, like, for example, let's give a move a6, right? After f5 in here, I can even chop the queen, I believe. And if takes, I just chop here. And, like, the initiative is just overwhelming. I'm going to win the rook on the second move. Let's say if he moves here, knight g6 check. I pick up the rook, right? So that's why he plays bishop d8 to step out of all that nonsense, right? Because now if I go f5, now he has queen e4, e5, and he doesn't have to worry about the bishop hanging on d8, right? But oddly enough, this is still playable, right? This is still, and in fact, this is what I went for, because now after h5, instead of taking, I'll lose the advantage slightly, because then now the bishop is alive, and as you can tell, the EVA bar just dropped, even though white is still much better. Like, it's plus 1.46. It's worse. I played the best move again. I played queen f3, right? Looking to go to h5. Very tough spot for him to be in. And as you can tell, this is winning. So he plays g6. Now, I cannot take, because of course I'm pinned to this. Second best move, knight f4. Going for the check, right? If he takes here, I just go for the check either way, and then it's a family fork. Would you look at that? I pick up the queen on the next move, right? So after knight f4, he plays queen d8, e8. I mean, best move, because now and here I was calculating. I spent so much time calculating just this takes, and this is simply winning, right? He will have to he cannot play moves like let's just give black a move here like a6, because then this is just made in two. I mean, oh sorry, not that, mouse slip, checkmate, right? So here he'd actually have to sack back the rook here on f4, sack back the exchange. But you see, when all this is said and done, this is winning, because he doesn't have good moves, right? Look at this. Who's gonna guard the king, right? I'm just gonna march in. This pawn, I'm just gonna drop back and pick it up, and I'm still continuing the initiative. I'm just marching forward. And then somehow somehow, when I went for the g6 pawn, I picked up my knight and I played knight takes on g6 check. Where is it? No, knight takes on g6 check. I mean, who does this? Who in their right mind does this? Look at the eval bar. It just went down because just queen takes. I was so mad at myself because just queen takes. And I played rook f1. I thought to myself, okay, look, I've made it this far. I've played well this far. I saw the exchange. I had the upper hand. I'm probably still gonna win this game, right? Just rook f1, right? Threatening now to take the queen. So queen slides out of, oh, he doesn't slide out of the way. He plays bishop takes instead, which I thought he just had to chill. But of course, like, he doesn't want to sit around and let these pawns like just march forward. He doesn't want to do that. So he takes, and then he played queen g4, which I thought was an inaccuracy, right? Then I don't exchange because right now I'm having a difficult time. Queen f2, which I believe was also the best move. Just keeping options open. Now I'm going for this pawn here. So you see now this was justified. This is a weakness. And when I so choose, I can slide my attention to the queen side and start bullying all these pawns because nobody's guarding them. This does not scare anybody. I can block the pawn on time, right? Here goes queen f6. I pick up the, I first play rook g1, queen h3. I pick up the pawn. Here goes rook f6. And then rook f2 back, because I wanted to trap his queen right here. In fact, at this juncture, when he played queen h3, I could trap his queen, right? With bishop f1, almost, but he escapes. He has queen d3. And maybe in a perfect world, okay, I have something like queen h2, but as you can see, I don't. Black is now winning, right? So I thought to myself, okay, same idea, Lucky. Don't forget the idea. Same idea, but different approach. So I first have to eliminate this with tempo. Queen takes on d4, hitting the rook here, and when he guards it, I set up the trap again on queen f2, right? Here I thought he at least had to try and find a runaway train somewhere. I thought he had to play rook g8. This is what I thought he had to play to sort of try and keep the pressure going. Because just so you understand, I cannot just play here again mindlessly because this is just check. I'm forced to come back, and he has a breather. He's actually winning now, right? So after, let's say, a move like rook g8, instead of queen f4, maybe I might even just consider playing rook h1. Oh no, not rook h1. Oh, that's a blunder. Oh, I can actually just trade. Check. Check, and maybe check, I believe. Yeah, but like the game can go on because he can't really come deliver mate now. Engine says I'm needed for that one, but taking I think is what I had to go for. Or if I do ignore him, I can even take this time to play something like a3. It's important to just get out of any bankroll problems. Yes, and it says 0-0, right? But after queen f2, I was happy because now this trap works because the e3 square is inaccessible to him. So he plays h4. Was I not happy to see this move? Bishop f1, queen is trapped. Queen is trapped, and then queen takes on f5, pawn takes on f5, rook takes on f5, queen takes h4 check. Like here, he was just bombed. In fact, here after bishop f1, he just wasted like 20 minutes. Just basically, I guess he was just digesting the fact that he was almost equalized and he's throwing it away again. And yeah, this is why you never resign, right? It is such things that you never resign. It is such positions because here, when I played knight takes on g6 check, I mean, this was horrible. This was horrible. But as you can see, the evo bar practically still gives a slight advantage to white, but it went from being completely winning if I just found simple g takes on f5, right? Just f takes g5, f takes g6, and I'm chilling. I'm cruising, right? But it happens, it shows that mistakes happens and you play inaccuracies. But like I still kept the pressure because I mean it was far from being lost. And yeah, I mean it was a beautiful game overall. I was happy that I won, but I was not really happy how I won it. But again, I was happy that at critical moments like rook takes on d4, I found these moves, right? Rook takes on d4, best move on the board. I played it. I'm happy that at certain critical moments, even throughout some of the recaps that we're gonna be looking at throughout the series, I was making the right decisions and the best decisions, right? So even if, like for example, I turn on the engine here, let's just turn on the lines for a second, you will see that rook takes d4 is the top engine lines, the top engine move. It makes sense, and it's +3, and I went for it. So I was happy in the way I was playing overall. But I was just making dumb mistakes along the line, and it cost me so many games. In fact, and as you will see going forward, some of the games I lost because overall my performance honestly sucked. But this was a beautiful game regardless, to say the least. This was a beautiful game. I was happy with this game, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next one, kings and queens. Until next time, you have a good one. Cheers.